Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to our in-depth post-match reaction show here at Anfield Road TV. If you are new around here, whatever social media platform you are watching, and if you enjoy, hit that subscribe button, the follow button, whatever algorithm you use, or dislike it if you want as well, especially if you're a Wolves fan. I'm joined by three very special guests as always. I've got Alan, Nigel, and Luke, and we're just going to be discussing obviously the big result last night. Yes, it's the FA Cup, but I think overall, as me and the lads and everyone in the comments, it's the result that we've been very much craving for best part of the last couple of months in reality. But Alan, we'll start with you, mate. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for jumping on, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jack. It's a pleasure to be on with you at long last. Hi, lads. Looking forward to the chat, especially after a win for a change. Reasonably good performance and a good young team. So let's rock.
Happy days. Nigel, much needed, lad, wasn't it? Me and you spoke earlier on in the week, and it's exactly what we wanted, really, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. We were saying the other night, like, we just want to see a solid midfield. Give us some kind of a base. It's exactly what we got.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, that. Big up, Tom. How we doing, mate? Obviously, needs to see a team actually win a game. Don't you, Tom? Anyway, but big up, mate. Big up, John. Hope you're well. Not too bad, lad. I'm all good. Thank you very much for that, mate. And much better, Johnny. Big up there, mate. But Luke, we were speaking off camera. You defending referees. Some things never change, lad, do they?
Not all the time. I mean, to be fair, in Mariner's case, I mean, I think he had a generally decent game. Obviously, don't get me wrong, referees. A lot of people come to me about refereeing decisions and stuff, as you already know. But yeah, no. Apart from that, it was a good performance from him last night. Liverpool got the win finally, a clean sheet, and yeah, no funny noises tonight, Jack, on the stream. Yeah, all right.
Oh, I can't promise anything. I know we're not past the watershed, so, the legal reasons in the UK. But I found that, and just to start off the show, that was hilarious, boys. Wasn't it? Like at first, I think as soon as I heard it, it was like, oh, either someone in the stand is obviously connected to the studio audio devices like Bluetooth or something, because I think, if you're going to Asda or if you're going to Sainsbury's, either someone plays the noise down a tannoy or someone connects to like the global audio speakers in a shop. Not speaking from experience anyway, never done that. As a joke. But did you enjoy that? That was a bit of banter anyway. It's and I suppose the boring people out. I understand if you're watching it with like your younger family members or like, but it's just mute the telly. Like it takes 2 seconds to mute the telly, and people were absolutely livid. And of course, people complain to Ofcom, typical. But it was a great start, a great way, and fair play to obviously the pundits on there. I tell you what, I would have been in absolute stitches, boys. Would you have handled that, Nigel, Alan? Would you have burst out laughing? For me, I would have completely lost it. In all honesty.
You're just careful with your words, what you're handling and stuff like that now there.
Yeah, especially. But chat, get your comments in, most importantly, please, as well, mods. Can you please drop in the lads' channel links as well on all their social media? The lads will shout out as well at the end of the show. And if you've got any questions or any talking points you want to discuss as well, everyone, if you are watching on the repeat or if you are watching live, do get them in and we'll discuss them really as well. But firstly, I wanted to talk about, Nigel, was the intensity. I think every Liverpool fan, for the best part of this season, we know the intensity levels have very much not been there, considering the big performances that we've put in previous seasons, really, mate. But, Nige, really, from your point of view, what did you love about, or what did you love most about it, the intensity levels?
We set the tone from the first minute. Our intensity level in our press was much higher, much better. So we're into it straight away, and that was it really. We didn't let a team settle again. When we're conceding goals, it looks like the last few games, it looks like we're dropping back all the time, and we're giving teams a chance to run at us into the spaces. If you remember the silly little map I drew the last time, they're getting in between our midfield and our defenders, and they're causing us problems because they're much more intense than we are. But last night we got on the front foot. We had a kind of a 2-man in the middle, and one sitting, one staying. And Bajcetic just kind of swept up in behind Thiago. Thiago was moving the ball around, and Harvey Elliott, who we'll come to again in a few minutes, I'm sure, in his proper position, slightly further forward. I had a little moan about Harvey, be saying that he couldn't really defend when we had Trenton right back and Mo up on the left or on the right hand side. Kind of got caught in between sometimes, and he hasn't really got the pace to go both ways, if you know what I mean. But last night he was in his proper position, looked very good, carried the ball well. That was it. We carried the ball well, we passed the ball well most of the time, and we caused problems.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Nige, Alan, sorry, it's as Nigel's alluded to there, Elliot. We'll touch on Elliot straight away now because obviously Star stood with performance again. Obviously, the position in which he did play for quite a whole season. In reality, Blackburn Rovers 12 months prior to obviously this season, obviously his injury the year before that as well. But it begs the question now, doesn't it, mate, going forward? And I think we've already seen in Jurgen Klopp's post-match after his interview saying that a lot of these lads very much give him very much a selection headache going into Saturday's fixture against Chelsea, mate. But just general thoughts on the game, mate. What really stood out for you? You want to speak on Harvey Elliott? We'll probably do a whole show on in itself anyway. But he's a little magician, and makes it even better. He just loves every ounce of Liverpool Football Club. It's like one of us on the pitch, but it's nothing better, really, mate.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there. That's what I was going to say. Just to see the passion in him, and grabbing the badge and fist up to the crowd. That's what you want to see in a Liverpool player. It's like Nigel said there. That's his best position. You could see he grew in confidence, and I loved his interview afterward, where like the commentator said to him, I was thinking pass it, but he said Millie was shouting at him, shoot, which is lovely to hear, because he needs a bit of confidence. He needs a bit of more of that going forward play that we've seen him do before. And like everyone, he was getting a bit criticised in the last while because of the position in midfield, but the whole midfield is crap. So I suppose the thing last night as well was, I think it's the first game in a long time where you didn't feel you were going to lose. You just felt we were in control of the game for 90% of it. And then when they got their 10 minutes, as every team gets, we held on good and strong. We defended well.
What would you put that down to, Alan, from your point of view?
Well, I think, to be fair, I don't think Wolves played their best game either. You have to be honest about it. But I think that the legs to shut them down, we seemed to sit back a bit more, held our shape. But look at Thiago. Thiago's our best midfield this season, and he's playing a lot more. That
was old school Thiago for me, mate.
Yes,
back.
But that was because he had two legs beside him. He had young Bajcetic, who was fantastic. He had Naby, who was fantastic, as we know he can be when he's fit. Yeah. And then Thiago was able to stay in the middle, pass the balls, tackle. He did everything. But my fear before last night, and still is, that Thiago's going to pick up an injury, because if he picks up an injury, we're in trouble. He's our best midfielder. He's the best tackler. But just a word for Bajcetic. That chap is calm. He reminds me of Fabinho, the first year Fabinho came. Calm, win the ball, pass it off. Win the ball, pass it off. I know he's young, and I think the 2 or 3 games I've seen him playing so far, he seems to go down near the end with with cramps and stuff. So there's a bit of development to go on there. Yes,
I love that so much, mate. Probably when you see the players collapsing, all of them. I think a lot we see in the final picture of the game of our 6 players at the deck, and if that's what it's going to take,
yes,
that's what it's going to take. Come what to now, the end of May, anyway, mate.
Exactly. And you could see the relief from players last night, the final whistle. You see so many players went down on their knees, and like you said, they're out of breath, but they're also just, yes, we got to win. Like we went ahead. We were ahead at half time. Wow. It was great.
Yeah, spot on that. As Russ, big up, look, Russ. As I said, big result for yous. Was it a couple of nights ago? Arsenal, you better keep on winning. I'll be very disappointed if you don't. The most interesting thing that happened was Gary Lineker going off. It was evening, Scouts. How you doing, mate? Evening tonight was pork chops. Still love it, Scouts. Go ahead. You better be cooking up something in the comments as well tonight, mate. Yeah, share it as well, mate. Don't think it was Gary's. Yeah, no, it was. Someone had sellotaped. If you haven't got social media, it was on TikTok anyway. Someone had double-sided sticky taped. I think it was like a house phone or something, and then he stuck it onto like one of the back of the studio, but quite close to one of the mics as well. So yeah, tell you what, if you want to advertise that brand of phone, it's very loud. So other phone companies are available. But yeah. But yeah,
what's the bet? It was the Scouser that planted that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Luke, as Alan and obviously Nigel have already alluded to, it was a very intense game, but that's what we've been absolutely craving. We'll speak on obviously Bajcetic and Harvey Elliott in a little second, mate. But what really stood out for you? What were you most pleased with in all accounts, really, mate?
Yeah, I think yesterday what I was really impressed with, I mean, overall the 90 minutes was that Wolves didn't really do much, in all honesty. There wasn't much that they could sort of create because Liverpool were quite organised and we were quite well disciplined in our performance. I think, we rotated the team very well. There was a lot of players in that team last night that are surely playing for a nod at the weekend. I mean, you've obviously got some players in there like, look at, for example, Joe Gomez. I think it was one of his better performances last night in a long time, alongside Konate. From that performance last night, I wouldn't mind seeing that Saturday because Matip's not been in good form.
That's a long-term future. I think all of us have said that long-term post Van Dijk when he retires, or he's going to retire hopefully at Liverpool. But that is, we all want Joe Gomez to put in a shift. We know he's capable. He had that game against City, as we know. And then off the back of that, he had a couple of disappointing results, mate. But what really, well, in terms of defence, what really stood out really about it, mate, was because I think we didn't really notice the high line, but that was probably, as Nigel alluded to and Alan, it was because of the press in midfield. It worked well, and you didn't necessarily see that high line exposed too much.
I think as Alan said, I believe he was saying about, we had the legs with. When Thiago's in midfield, obviously, we want him to be the one that's distributing the ball out to the wide areas and obviously into the centre, but he can only really do that when he's got two players around him that's able to do all the running, and Bajcetic last night was superb. For me, the drop of the shoulder, and I think it was about half hour in when Martinho went in for the ball and he just dropped the shoulder and just sort of sent him flying, was just incredible. You can see you've been working alongside Thiago for a few months, and he's got his inner Ragnar Klavan as well in that as well. But I think there was good performances. I think it was a good team performance. I think it was good individual performances. But I just generally felt that was a performance where you can see the belief is still with the manager as well. You can see that there's belief with all of the players. We've been in such bad form and we needed that. We needed a clean sheet. It doesn't matter who we played against yesterday. We needed to win. Obviously, the only one thing I would have changed was I would have preferred it to have been a league game. But apart from that, we go into the game Saturday against Chelsea with confidence now. We've got the result and we've got the players coming back in with, Salah and hopefully Darwin Nunez is back fit. But yeah, again, as I said, there was a good performance all around from Liverpool last night.
I want to also quickly go around the room as well. Chat, let us know in terms of team selection. We've mentioned obviously the defence. But I think I don't know how you lads feel last season a sec. But for me, I've been, especially when we've got Naby fit, I looked at that game and if Naby can put in a shift like that, but I think Naby, similar with Gomez and certain other players in our team, you very much thrive off a consistent run of games and that's when we will see the best out of them. I was made up, and with Naby, I think him, Bajcetic, and obviously Thiago very much complemented each other. Luke, did they? What really impressed you most about the midfield? But would you agree with that? Did they complement each other?
I agree. What I liked with Bajcetic and Keita was, I mean, obviously Thiago was the one that was actually up most times trying to press forward, like with, the presser in midfield was trying to sort of overrun Gakpo, for example, sometimes when the goalkeeper had the ball. And it was just little bits of confidence like that if one player is going to go, then one player might sit. And obviously that, the teamwork around, like, from what I was very impressed with was when we had the ball in midfield, there was a lot of link-up play. I think there was a lot of little 1-2 touch, short passing, moving, just basic. I think that was I think that was the main of it. I think we just went back to basics last night. We did the basics well, and obviously we've got our just rewards. And if we can continue that into the weekend and in the next few weeks, then hopefully we can go on a run of results and get us, in the end of it, something to play for towards the end of the season.
Yeah, no, spot on, mate. Nigel, Jürgen spoke earlier on in the week, and we all watched the interview. We said it was, as we all know, it is Jürgen's job to get the best out of him. But we knew, and we'll speak about obviously the amazing travelling cup in a little bit as well, mate. But your thoughts on Jürgen Klopp, the way in which he approached the game last night, mate? Do you reckon he's laying from quite a lot of performance tonight that the team can put in a performance, just his job now to get that consistent level performance, really, innit, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we learned, because if we look at the goal last night, what Harvey Elliott did last night has been exactly what's been happening to us the last few games. Teams have been pouring through. We divide, take the centre circle and divide either the two sides and the other two sides on the other side into kind of 4 quarters, and teams have been coming streaming through from the quarter in their half into our half, and we haven't been covering the gaps. Well, we did it last night. We've been covering the gaps last night, and Harvey Elliott got the ball in his quarter in his own half, ran into their half, and unleashed that bullet into the top corner. That's exactly what other teams have been doing to us recently. So it was nice to see us doing exactly the opposite last night and filling the gaps. Teams have been walking through those gaps on us in the last few games, particularly on Saturday against Brighton. We got absolutely overloaded in those teams coming, 2 and 3 players coming streaming through the gaps. The second goal that Brighton got last night, perfect example, on Saturday. Because if you look who tried to cover Solly March as he was hitting the ball, it was Robbo coming across from the left-hand side. Shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, but we did it last night. We covered it, like you were saying about legs. Bajcetic, man of the match for me by an absolute mile. Yeah. But I thought Naby was fantastic last night. Had a great game. Covered all the little bits. Got the foot in. Got the little touch here and there. Nick it away. Knock it to one of our players. Knock it back to the fullback. Knock it up to the man in front, to Harvey in front of him. We did to them last night what's been done to us the last month and a half. So yeah, I think he's definitely learned.
Yeah, I think, Jack, sorry, if you don't mind. I think Naby is the one player in our team that we don't have 2 of. In that Naby gets the ball and he runs at teams. That's something we don't have in our midfield. So when he gets the ball, the teams have to sit back. They have to hold on. Is he going to run with it? Is he going to pass it? He's a box-to-box type of player. If it wasn't for his injuries, he would be world class, in my opinion. Anyway, I love the chap, but I have given up on him. But I think he's the one player we don't have 2 of in our team. And like Nigel said, he's the one that makes that run forward with the ball. If he's not there, the only person that does it is Joel Matip. So I think him playing alongside Thiago and Bajcetic last night was just, treat them together were just fantastic.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest, would you say, Alan, the biggest enigma in Liverpool's team now at the minute in relation to what do Liverpool do. As you said, mate, I think all of us have probably lost faith in him in reality in terms of the sheer amount of injuries, whether Liverpool were to give him a 5-year contract. And you never know. Of course, I was speaking to a couple of lads as well last night after the show. You don't want to be put in a situation where Liverpool give a contract to Naby and then we have another 4 or 5 years of like we've already had.
Yeah, no. But
on the other hand, Alan, he could do the opposite, and that's hindsight is a wonderful thing. We let him go. We let a £60 million midfielder go to, like, say, Barcelona or someone, and he stays fifth for what? That's part of, like the next 3 years.
It's worrying though, Jack. Did you see the stat with Naby Keita? I think he's played 83 or 84 games for Liverpool, and every appearance has roughly cost about $1 million per game. Like, that's with his wages, the transfer fee, all the bonuses that he's got within his contract, if he's got anything. But if you're going to give him an extra 2 to 3 year contract, which, if you're basing it on the game last night, I wouldn't see why not. But we all know what Naby Keita is all about. He'll play 5 or 6 games and he'll be out for 3 months. Like, that's just the unfortunate thing. But I'll start him on Saturday against Chelsea. I think it was Gary who put, or Mark who put the comment in about the midfield three. I would start Naby Keita on Saturday.
Yeah, spot on, mate.
Spot on.
Quickly rattle through all these comments as well. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you follow all the lads' socials as well. They will be shouting that to come at the end of the episodes. As I said, chat, comments. Well, everyone watching at home, or if you're watching on the repeat, you're the most important people, as always. Get involved. As I said, we'll discuss it, debate as well. More intrigued in what you think, and obviously the panelists tonight, as always, do think about the footy that we played last night, which was much better, as we know. Big up to Eamons. Hope you're well, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Klopp was forced to use the youngsters last night. Maybe to make a point, you should mix it up more often. Give them minutes. And I think that's a point that we've very much all discussed, Nigel. I think in the week, didn't we? That you know exactly what you get from youth. And that's legs, and that's excitement, and that's the unpredictability. In all honesty, that teams don't know what they're coming up against in reality, Nigel, innit?
I'm not sure about teams don't know. But it's not. I don't think it's the don't know factor. It's just the legs factor, really, more than anything. We have been looking so leggy in the middle of the field. I mean, Jordan Henderson's done a great job over the last few years, but by God, has he looked leggy the last few games. And it's the passing thing as well. You've got to be able to pass the ball. There's kind of too much of the loopy ball going forward and us losing possession and getting caught in those gaps I was talking about before. Like, there's just kind of nothing there to stop if we lose possession to the opposition back four, little ball in over the halfway line, and we're caught. Happened the last month and a half, 2 months. I don't know how many games we've conceded the first goal in. I think it must be 10 games. Yeah, it must be 10 games we've conceded the first goal at this stage. And if you look at the amount of time we've lost possession and just got caught with a simple little counter ball coming straight through our midfield channels and getting guys in behind our fullbacks then, because the two lads would say Trent and Robbo, have pushed slightly forward. We're caught in behind. One little ball around the corner, done.
Yeah, spot on that. I'll quickly go around the room and chat. Give us your midfield three for Saturday. I'll quickly go through. Where Scouser said there, Thiago's nailed on for Saturday. Fab is probably 2. I disagree with that, mate, but I understand where you're coming from. Can we mix Bajcetic with them in a 3? I'll be very defensive. That's Scouse, but I suppose I think all of us, when we spoke on it, mate, every red round the world in reality when we've been speaking about Liverpool.
Back four.
Yeah.
Back four. Thiago, Fab, Bajcetic, and Naby. Middle of the field.
What formation would that be? I was going to say a triangle or diamond.
Push Naby on slightly, I think.
Yeah.
Push Naby on a little bit, and just to try and get in between our midfield and their defence and try and get them and close them down. I just think we need to try and solidify that midfield a little bit more. I like the 4-3-3, and actually Harvey worked really well last night.
Yeah,
but I just have a little bit more faith in a slightly withdrawn system at the moment, and try and support, say, Mo and Cody Gakpo with a bit of speed going from the middle of the field, like Naby or Harvey. I don't know which, but I just like a little bit more solidity in the midfield at the moment.
Yeah.
It seemed to work last night. So
For me, and it's probably very controversial, I'd like to see Bajcetic, not that, but I was going to mention, for me, the way he started, I'd start Elliott ahead of Salah, and probably that's going to send people's heads west, but I think it worked. Don't change anything if it's not broken, especially going off the back. I think, obviously, of course, you'd bring in Trent, you'd bring in Robbo, you'd probably bring in Alisson as well, the two centre-backs. I'd probably change, but Alan, start with you, mate, and we'll go around the room and chat. Let us know your midfield three for Saturday. I'd go with Bajcetic, and I'd go with Naby, and I'd go with Thiago. What would your midfield three, or 4 or 5 be on Saturday?
Yeah, snap. Yeah, I'd start that midfield again.
Would you?
You know, obviously depending on injuries or anything, but I would go with them 3 again, definitely. You know, we also have to remember we have the 5 subs, so we can change. But yeah, they deserve to start the game. Yeah. Definitely.
Luke?
Do you want what I want, or do you want what Klopp's going to go with?
No, go for it. That's what you want, lad. Doesn't matter what you think.
Fabinho plays. I don't think Bajcetic plays in this game, and I might be a bit sort of overstepping it a little bit. Where was it last season when we played Chelsea when Harvey Elliott got the nod? You know, and a lot of us were. I think Morton it was last season.
Well.
I think it was
Morton played against Tottenham, wasn't it? Was it last season?
Yeah, and a lot of people. And when Harvey Elliott started that game against Chelsea, I remember a lot of people were like, "What, Harvey Elliott's actually starting this game?" You know, like, is it actually like? It's a bit of a big jump. And relatively, he played quite well in that game. I remember it was a couple of games before he suffered that injury against Leeds. But my midfield 3, I think he will go with Thiago, Keita, and I think Fabinho. Let's not be mistaken. I think Fabinho done all right when he came on, to be fair. What I liked about Fabinho when he came on was obviously Bajcetic looked a bit fatigued. I think he played very well. He suffered a bit of cramp as well. I think in a game with Chelsea, I think looking at something like that, obviously Chelsea are going to have a lot more work in midfield and attacking areas. I think there's going to be a lot more work to be done. And I think if you're going to, I'm not saying he's not good enough. Of course, he's good at this level, but I just feel you're going to have to put that experience in midfield, and Fabinho he's able to cover the spaces.
That would disrupt the momentum that was built off the back of last night?
Possibly, but I think as a player, I think Bajcetic might understand why Fabinho's in this game, because we could possibly play Bajcetic in this game and he could have a stinker. And it's one of those, you don't really want to sort of put too much pressure on the kid early on. I just feel that in this game with Chelsea, well, El Shitico as everyone's calling it, I do think that we have to be a bit more careful. I mean, as I said, like that's what I would hope the midfield 3 would be. It wouldn't surprise me if he plays Jordan Henderson, in all honesty, because of that leadership and the bit more sort of big game mentality. But no, back to my midfield 3, I said Fabinho, Thiago, and Keita.
Yeah, Chuck, keep on getting your midfield in 3 for. Obviously, we'll have our starting 11 predictor show on Friday. Yeah, pre-plan that. I've got it on my schedule. It is up there anyway. Was looking. But yeah, get your midfield 3 in. We'll get through them anyway quickly. Nigel, your midfield 3 for Saturday, lad?
Midfield 4.
Oh, 4, yeah. Go on.
4-4-2.
4-4-2.
4-4-2. We kind of lack a proper third striker that we've been having. We've lacked Firmino. We lack Jota at the moment. So I'd actually, like I said, I'd push Naby and say to him, just push on. The Italian guy they've got, the penalty taker that does the hop, skip and jump.
Jorginho.
Jorginho, yeah, him. And the other guy, what is he? Croatian, is he?
Kovacic.
Mateo Kovacic.
I love him as a player. Tremendous player.
One or two of those are playing. Or say to Naby Keita, get on him. Don't let him settle on the ball. Everything's coming from there. Push on to him. They're trying to do the Xabi Alonso role. Sit in deep. Knock the ball around. Have a nice, easy day. Don't give it to him. Push Naby Keita on. Naby, go get them. He's good at that. Remember he did it against Man United when they pushed him on? And the United players didn't know what was after happening. Luke Shaw was in a spin, and now they're on about him having him player of the month and stuff like this. He didn't know what was happening that day. he was so all over the place. Like he kept coming into centre back to try and get away from Naby running at him. Just try and push that a little bit on. Just a slight. I think we might have caught. You might have seen it earlier on. I posted in the chat. I just said push on to these guys. Like, you know, I think the Wolves might have been slightly surprised.
Probably does that the best though, Johnny Nigel, when he's not got that defensive, because he's very defensive liable, as we've seen in the last 12 months, especially that game against Real Madrid, when Jürgen literally took him off at half time. It's like, nah, I'm not having that.
Yeah, well, I listen, I don't mind if the platform is there behind him. Off you go. Absolutely no problem. That's why Thiago, Fabinho, Bajcetic lined up behind him.
Spot on.
Get him into those players. Get them into their faces. That's exactly it.
Yeah. I think all of us are buzzing off the back of last night. Everyone might go, it's only one game, but I think all of us, I felt was so much joy, especially seeing that team performance. A lot of youngsters. I don't think I'm speaking from my view really, but I love not more than seeing young players, and I understand where Luke's coming from in terms of playing Fabinho, but I think if Fabinho was to come in on Saturday and he did disappoint, then I think Bajcetic would have that position number 6 down nailed. Because I think when you look at the likes of certain other youngsters of his age applying the trade in and around Europe, if you're good enough, doesn't matter how young you are. Look at Trent when Klein got injured or Klein got sold anyway. And he was like, right, Trent, you're getting the opportunities. And he thrived upon that, of course. Especially in the social media age we live in. If a player has one bad game, then that's their career written off, in all honesty. If you listen to them all anyway. But Eamons, Fab, Thiago, Naby. Interesting, obviously, bringing Fabinho back in. Panel's going with Bajcetic, Thiago, Keita. Bring Fab on the second half sometimes. But, quick one on that, that's going to give Fabinho a massive rocket up the backside in reality, innit, mate? When you've got a 19-year-old, obviously he trains with him, he'll know 100% his quality. He probably didn't need last night's big performance to say that he's got fresh competition in the squad.
Yeah, definitely. That goes for all the players. That goes for every player, I think. Like I've grown up I grew up back in the day where the fella holding the shirt kept the shirt unless he played bad, and then he was gone. And then if you come in and played well, you kept the shirt until you played bad. So that's kind of my philosophy, to be honest. I think if a player plays well, he keeps the shirt. You know, you don't change a winning team. Now I know we'll change the weekend because we had 8 changes, but if you have any player, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter with Mo Salah last night, Harvey Elliott comes on, man of the match performance, scores a cracker of a goal. You're Mo Salah, but you have to think, oh shit, and that's the way it should be. Now, I think Mo's got a lot of criticism this year as well, unfairly as well, because he's not putting in the numbers as normal. But if he's not getting the ball, how can you do it? But yeah, no, definitely. It's my first time on your show, Jack. Anyone that knows me from Cop On podcast knows I'm saying for 2 seasons that Henderson is finished. His legs are gone. You know, but it's also a thing too. And my stage of life, you've learned a lot over life, and every leader has his time. You know, in business, to say every 6-7 years you change your managing director because he's already given all his ideas. He's already driven on the staff. Then you need fresh ideas. So I would think that last night a lot of young players on, different ideas, different lads pushing, different lads speaking up. So I think we need to continue that, and that's not a anti-Henderson thing. It's just I think his legs are gone, and I think his leadership over the years was his legs. You know, do what I do, run like I run, tackle like I tackle. So I think pressure on players like that is what we need in every position. Yeah, agree with you. Yeah, Fabinho can only get better from it and get more of a rest that he needs as well.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think, as we've already discussed, and Jürgen Klopp was quite scathing in his reaction, especially midweek, about basically saying that I think obviously large sections of Liverpool's fan base, we've said, obviously, as much as we all love Jurgen Klopp, but sometimes he can be a bit loyal to certain players. And he come out this week, as we know, in that interview saying, I'm not. And he smiled and said, that come from the back of last night. I know it was an FA Cup game, but Jurgen could have easily have played. And same with Saturday, it'd be a massive indicating factor to see who we do start. Because I think it's not like, as Alan's alluded to there, we all know Salah's not been the Salah of old that we know. Obviously, he's been chipping in and probably frustrates Salah the most, especially when he's looking at Haaland, getting all those goals. Ivan Toney, he wants to be getting golden boots and all that, but I think it'd be a massive slap bang to earth in reality for Mohamed Salah. But for me, I'd start a lot more of the youngsters, but we'll get down there anyway. But let's rattle through all these. Big up LJ. Hope you're well, mate. Have had a good day. Everyone in chat as well. Let us know how your day's been, everyone. No, Mark gets as much out of him as we can before he walks for the free in the summer. He cost us 50 million now. Yeah, 100% there. I think it depends who you believe on Twitter, especially the well-known respected journalists anyway, that there is indicating factors that there is negotiations going on behind closed doors, but only time will tell. We'll find out come at the end of May. And I think last year, Naby, all of us were probably complexed, weren't we, Nigel? Every single one of us, we were watching that pre-match build-up in the Champions League final at May, and it was like, oh, is Naby coming on? Is Thiago coming on? But I think that was a massive indicating factor that Jurgen Klopp, in the big games, doesn't quite trust Naby.
Yeah, it's a real pity because he's a really good player. But like Alan said earlier on, he's made of biscuits. You know, you don't know what you're going to get. He can be absolutely unbelievable, or he can go down after a minute and a half in a heap, and you just don't know. Now, just to go back to the game last night again for a second, I actually thought, like, we call him the supporting cast. We were all here talking about Bajcetic and Harvey, but a little bit of a mention for some of the rest of the lads last night. Milner was very good last night. I thought he did a good job. Costas did okay. Like, they had Ike Nuri, who was possibly Wolves' best player last night on the left-hand side. I thought he was very good. Carried a real threat. And you got the Eiley bodybuilder on the other side, who's going
Mr. Baby Lotion. Mr. Baby Lotion.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's a big threat, but he didn't. Well, apart from he's shooting at goal, but he's
got no end product. He's got no end product. How can I mean? Don't get me wrong. He should have been licking his lips last night because you're seeing Kostas Tsimikas, and Tsimikas. Personally, I thought out of the 11, I don't want to sort of make. I thought we played well, but I think he struggled in the first half.
And shout out to the fella that robbed the Lecky at 2 minutes in. Defo scouts on the power grid in Wolverhampton went.
I think the one time where Adama actually got past him. But I generally think first half he struggled, but like just the end product of him.
He got a couple of passes in that night, but like you said, no end product. He runs and runs and runs, and one of these days he's going to get something right. That's the threat. You know,
he got it right at Barcelona, he was doing quite well, and then he's come back to Wolves and he can't pass it. Like it's, I mean, right, sometimes you look about maybe the players you're playing alongside, but makes it a bit better. But no, he's always been a fascinating one, isn't he?
Slower game in Spain, and they get more decisions from Barcelona.
Yeah,
and the referees are in the pockets, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll get to scouts. I'd like to keep Milner at right back for half, maybe, unless we're cautious about bombing forwards. He's a lot more defensive, isn't he? As long as he doesn't come up against Foden. Never want to see him play against Foden in my life ever again, after what happened a couple of months ago. Yesterday's game brought so much mental strength in me and joy. While these are the games that I feels like a gritty Liverpool fan. I love this club. And that's it, LJ. I think all of us have been probably a bit down. I think, speaking from my point of view, like, we love this club so much, and especially we're not asked about rival fans, any of us. Let them roll in their joy for what Man United fans have crawled out of the gutters for what the best. They've been silent for the last 10 years. A couple of good results, Liverpool playing bad, but we'll be back on top, boys. Boys and girls, we'll be back to where we belong anyway. Just let them enjoy.
A United fan yesterday said it worked to me. What? what has Klopp done recently?
Hmm.
And I said, we haven't won a trophy in 6 years. Or whatever length it is. You're not getting that. I said to him, no way. So no, I just said, keep going.
They've spent 1.5 billion since Ferguson left.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. And I mean, look, they want the Glazers out, and then obviously like they do start doing well on the pitch, and then all of a sudden like you don't hear from it no more. It's like, you know, sort of at the end of the day, yeah, like, we have our protests regarding FSG. I mean, obviously I want them to sell the club, but even if we start winning games, I'm still going to stand by my decision and the ownership changing hands. But yeah, as we said, guys, yeah, win a couple of games and obviously all out the woodworks, you know. And Liverpool, I do believe at some point, if it's not this season, next season, we'll be back above them.
Yeah, it rattles so many people, Scousers and just Liverpool fans in general, especially when we win games of football. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, Jeff, as you would say. And long may it continue. Crystal Palace, fingers crossed, LJ, as I said. We're probably going to go for another 15 minutes so everyone can obviously watch the footy tonight. Hopefully, a couple of FA Cup games is still lots. I think.
Yeah, there's only the Leeds Cardiff game. It's the last one
Leeds
tonight.
Cardiff, yeah, so we'll probably be watching the Leeds game. Or we'll switch on the Palace game if they're winning.
That's Leeds. It's Leeds' first home game in the FA Cup for 7 years.
Yeah, that's mad. That, like, I think we complain about not getting the best results
we've had like I think is it the last 35 cup draws we've played like 25 Premier League sides.
Yeah,
like it's mental. And then like Man City in the Champions League quarter final get Port Vale or something like that.
Is that because they keep getting knocked out in the third round away from home?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
crazy, isn't it?
Mike's a flip-flop fans. Aye, 100% that. Right, so we spoke about the intensity, team selection as well, chat. Consistent run of form in terms of building that. Alan, what do you feel Liverpool going off the back of last night's game, really going into the weeks and obviously Chelsea and then looking past that? What do you feel Liverpool really need to do to really build on this confidence now and build on the results? Because we've had a lot of false dawns this season, haven't we, mate? But for you personally, what do you feel the Reds need to do to very much bring that into the next fixtures, really?
Yeah, so we just need to go back to our old mentality of one game at a time. Just win the next game. It doesn't matter if it's a defensive 1-0 or 5-0. It doesn't matter. Just win the next game is all we can do. You know, it sounds simple, but it's not. You know, like, you know, we can get carried away with a win, like you said. We've so many false dawns, but you know, if we can go out with the same attitude again against Chelsea, like, don't forget they're under pressure too. Like, they've spent so much money and stuff. So go into this game, bring our confidence with us. Just go and beat them. That's all I'd say. Like, just go and beat them 1-0. Do me just fine.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Nigel, will you add to that as well, mate? In terms of what you reckon?
Get our crowd on side. Start well. Start like we started last night. You know, just start on the front foot. The crowd will be buzzing then, and, you know, just a Liverpool crowd when they're behind the team. You know, push on from there. Hopefully.
Yeah. Do you know what we need, lads? We need Klopp running up and down the sideline 1 or 2 times. Get the crowd going.
Yeah.
Just that bit of old Klopp. Just show the fans. It's amazing the difference.
That's all it takes, isn't it, Luke? In terms of what Alan said there, we've seen certain games like the Arsenal game last season when he's squaring up with Arteta, and that's exactly what Arteta should not be doing in a couple of weeks' time. And big up Russ if he's still in. You don't need your manager screaming, but it's a great point that Alan's alluded to there, mate. Even if Jürgen needs to do that to very much not get the fans on side, but to very much big them up, because every time I've been to Anfield over the last couple of seasons as well, and even this season, it's the crowd. Of course, it's massively indicated the way in which the team does start the game. But if Jürgen needs to be that cheerleader yet again, or even if he needs to come out and not criticise the fans, but a rallying call, as Nigel alluded to. We need this crowd, and we know it's one of the best crowds when it's on song in the whole of Europe. But for me, I think that's massively coincided with the bad run of form. In reality, I think when Leeds got their equaliser or when Leeds were looking like going forward, the atmosphere was absolutely shocking in all accounts, mate, for me.
I think that's the thing now. I think the next, obviously, especially against Chelsea, it's going to be a massive game for both clubs. But, at the end of the day, because of the run of form we've had and we've seen the struggles that we've had with results on the pitch and performances on the pitch, we need the fans to step up as well. I mean, it's not just obviously the players, the most important thing on the pitch, are obviously the ones that will get the result, I'm hoping, on Saturday. But in these next few weeks to come, Liverpool need the fans as much as anything. We can obviously sit at home and support the club as much as we can and put our own support in our way. But, for whoever's going to be at the game at Anfield on Saturday, they need to treat it for me like a Champions League night, because that's when the atmosphere is there, and that's what we need for the second half of the season. And, I think Jurgen Klopp's done everything possible to try and back the team and, to say to all the Liverpool fans that at the end of the day, this is what I've got to work with, but we need all of your support going forward.
No, you're spot on there, mate. And obviously, we were speaking just before we come on air, Nigel. Your travelling cop, as always, is the case. Come rain, storm, whatever weather, the fans will always be there. And that's what makes Liverpool so good. The away fans, the fans around the world as well. I think there's a massive stark contrast in terms of the Twitter fans in reality, anyway, in case of the fact that Liverpool is a fabric as a football club. All of us try our best. Yes, we can criticise players, but at the end of the day, we just get behind our lads, even if we are in a bad run of form. But as Panov said there, the away fans at Wolves were so strong in voice, and hopefully the Anfield home crowd, as Luke alluded to, can build off that amazing away support and bring it to Anfield on Saturday.
Yeah, it's got to be. It has to be. I'm sure now, the players fed off that atmosphere last night from our away fans. They were absolutely magnificent. Again, always are. It always, I don't know how many of them are going to be at the home game, but I hope they're all at it, because just sometimes, this singing starts going around the opposition fans, and where's your famous atmosphere and stuff like that. But we haven't been starting well enough for them to find the famous atmosphere. It's a two-way street here. If the players start well, the fans will be there. Simple as that. They just need. Sometimes you need a little bit of patience, and then we'll be going behind in so many games as well, and early. Like we were in it up to a point against Brighton last week, and we kind of rode our luck a little bit in the first half. But then to concede the goal at the start of the second half as quickly as that, it kind of killed any possible momentum we had. It's a kick in the teeth. We've got to. The players start well, the fans come alive. It's like two-way street.
Spot on, mate. Alan, it's probably one of the closing points as well. Chat, keep on getting your comments in anyway. It's the lads have already alluded to, and everyone in the chat tonight. For me, off the back of that game last night, mate, was we scored when we were on top. I think that's something that Liverpool very much struggled to do this season. We've had all the possession in certain games, all the chances, but as we know in football can be very brutal of a game. We all of us have watched so many games in the world of football anyway, but how important going into obviously the game on Saturday, mate, that Liverpool build off this momentum, but most importantly, build on the chances in which we do take into that game.
Oh yes, it's hugely important. It goes to everything we've just said there, and the lads have just said about crowd and everything. Like you said, with that, we all get that. Oh, here we go again moment. When we go 1-0 down, the stadium goes quiet. So it's you can't blame people for it sometimes. But that's, like we said, you just need that little bit of a spark from Jurgen or someone just to get the fans going. But you're right. Every team gets 10, 15 minutes good play, and to have to score in that 10 or 15 minutes, we used to be brilliant at doing that, but this year we haven't been. So yeah, we need to get a good early start, get that early goal, and then, like last night, have the other team under pressure for a change. If we can just get that little run going, lads, just this team is tired. Legs are gone, as we've all said, and all the shows over the last few months. This team is perfectly capable of putting in a big run if we can get a run of games, a run of early goals.
Confidence changes, yeah.
Confidence
changes everything, mate, doesn't it?
Doesn't matter who you are or what job you do anywhere in the world. Confidence is a big thing, So we get an early goal, put the pressure on, 2 or 3 more goals can come easy enough, and then get a run going. As I said earlier on, 1 game at a time. Next game, go out and win it.
Yeah, spot on. Obviously, Leeds just scored 1-0. But as Panov said there, just don't concede. If only it was that easy, Panov, like always, every red round the world, we're like, oh my God. It's the most frustrating thing anyway in reality, but it takes us time to switch on at the start of both halves. And that's sadly could be a potential candidate. Yeah, level big up, mate. As I said, if anything more news relation breaks, I know a lot of journalists, especially today, have been coming out and being very negative. But as we've already alluded to midweek with me, Nigel, and Spider and the lads, and knowing all of us, you're telling me if Liverpool is on the market, there's going to be more than just one. I think it was like 9. Luke, was it? It was 9 like suitors for Chelsea a couple of months ago before Tom Bowley bought Chelsea. There's going to be probably more in reality if Liverpool, as we know, is on the market. There's going to be a lot of suitors for Liverpool Football Club, so it's going to be changing a lot.
Yeah, I just think Liverpool at the moment is something that I think out of all the clubs that you could buy, I think Liverpool's up there as definitely a good suitor for people. Like we've got everything in place. Yeah, like we've got the stadium, we've got the player, we've got the manager, we've got the fans, training facilities, we've got foundations at the football club already in place. So if a Saudi comes in or a Qatari or whoever wants to buy the club, it's in their best interest at the moment.
Yeah, it's been like driving home from on a flat tire, hoping we can make it as well. Yeah, 100% there, mate. But yeah, there's going to be plenty level, mate. Plenty of links to Liverpool, and as I said, as long as we focus on the good stuff on the pitch and we can turn that round, then I think things will look very positive. We'll let whatever things. There'll be a lot of hearsay like this. Deals of this nature will probably have already been done. It's only like the last little details on contract sign, especially when you're dealing with that amount of money, 3.5-4 billion. That's ridiculous in terms of just the average football fan to all of us to really fathom. But that's how good Liverpool are as a product, as a value, and everything. But yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic show, mate. And thank you very much for all the panelists. Alan, where can everyone find you, please, mate? And massive thank you for coming on, mate. Hope you've enjoyed your debut.
Oh, thanks, Jack. No, I don't have any channels or anything. I just be on Cop On podcast with Owen. Was on Doug's channel once. Debut tonight. So I'm just an ordinary Joe Soap that just loves Liverpool, and that's just it. Thanks very much, and thanks to everyone in chat, and thanks to the lads.
Yeah, you're always welcome, mate. As I said, and we'll be getting you on a lot more regular as well. So I create my channel, just get Reds talking about the Reds, in all honesty. But Nigel, I think your third appearance on the channel as well. But a massive thank you for coming on, as always, mate. Where can everyone find you on your socials, mate?
Glad to come on again. Really enjoyed that. I've only got one just a Twitter channel, really. Irish Red 11, capital I, capital R. That's it, really. Just like to say to a few people as well. I mentioned it to you earlier on today. I think things like this and just talking to people is massive as far as mental health goes.
Yeah.
I remember I had a bit of a chat group during the first lockdown a couple of years ago with a few guys from a Twitter group that we had, and it was a big help to everybody because we couldn't go out, we couldn't talk to our friends, and just it's a good thing. I'd like to see everybody getting involved and more people getting involved on these channels. It's a good thing.
Yeah, 100% there, Nigel. 100%. And as I said, if anyone would like to jump on, as I said, if you're a bit nervous, you can come on with your voice and just talk. As I said, even if it go podcast form as well. But here, Nigel as well, mate. Everyone's welcome, and that's why I created my channel. Just be a family as well. I know we've got quite a lot of Manchester United fans, Everton fans as well, but they're all quite sensible as well, Red Bull fans. Everyone's welcome on the channel, as always. But Luke, thank you very much for coming on as well, mate. Any shows you got plans this week or what to expect? Just give the channel plug, mate.
We've got quite a few. I mean, obviously, just adding on. Thanks, guys. Alan, Nigel. Obviously, it was Alan's first tonight. Nigel's third. I can't remember how many times I've been on here, but it's been a lot of shows. But obviously, you know, we obviously appreciate me coming on. Obviously, as always, mate. But yeah, we've got a Chelsea preview tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. We've got George and Yusuf coming on, so Ricky's desperately looking forward to talking to both of them.
Is that tomorrow?
That is tomorrow night, yeah. Roughly up, it might be between 6:30 and 7, but obviously I'll let people know anyway. And yeah, like obviously got our Chelsea preview. Maybe on Friday we might do another show regarding some sort of news around the club, maybe, and obviously we've got our reaction show on the weekend as well. But yeah, thanks for letting me come on, Jack, as always. Mark, thanks for putting the link in the comments as well. And guys, obviously keep hitting that like button on this channel and of course subscribe to Anfield Road TV. And yeah, thanks, mate. And I'll speak to you very soon.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, gents. A massive thank you for all the panelists tonight. And as I said, Reds, it's a lot more easier when we're winning games of football. Can't always have it our way, but I think, and I'm hoping last night, very much as we discussed tonight, was very much a turning point in our season, potentially. As we were speaking about the atmosphere, speaking from experience, probably the Chelsea game at Anfield, of course, it's always a toxic atmosphere in terms of the stadium because obviously the history of both teams in recent years in terms of on the pitch performances. But I think it's still these big games that Anfield very much does thrive in, and probably one of the best atmospheres I've been in. I wish I was in there for the Barcelona semi-final, but I think it was that season when we won the league, that Salah screaming, lads. That goal in itself was phenomenal. It was as soon as he picked it up on the halfway line, you know, go on, Mo. And probably hopefully everyone gets the flags out supporting the Reds and Liverpool get back to winning ways. I'm pretty sure we will be doing that on Saturday. For future planning as well, we've got obviously the Chelsea build-up show tomorrow as well on the channel. That'll be out at 7 p.m. And then we've got obviously the starting 11 predictor. Got that many bloody shows, sorry, Jess. That's on Friday, and then obviously we got the live stream watch along on Saturday we're starting at 12 o'clock in the morning. Of course, it's a 12:30 kickoff. But yeah, but enough of me. I spoke too much. But gents, thank you very much. Appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Everyone, have a lovely rest of your night. As I said, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. If you don't get your notifications, we'll be live tomorrow. But gents, ladies as well, a massive thank you to everyone for tuning in. And a massive thank you to all the panelists tonight, Reds, as well. See you later, Reds, and we'll be back tomorrow. Ta-ra.